Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Ed with Call Me Mr. Broadstreet. Decided to show the new camera setup and show everything kind of behind me here. A little bit of a new filming location for me, so hopefully this should work out. I'm not editing anything just yet. This is all still being done in one take, but at least I'm using the new camera I have and some of the new equipment that I have. So I wanted to go ahead and show that off in the review. I hope everybody's doing well, and if you're enjoying the videos this far, I appreciate all the current subscribers, always hoping for new subscribers as well. If you enjoy this, please make sure to give a thumbs up, give a like, and just make sure to hit that button and subscribe. So I really appreciate it. So as I said from last week, I did the Wingspan DVD, the documentary that came out in 2001. Excuse me. So when I did that, I wanted to go ahead and review the soundtrack separately. So to sort of recap with the Wingspan documentary, of course, telling the story of Paul and Linda and Wings up from the breakup of the Beatles to about 1980. Now the soundtrack is a little bit interesting as it goes from 1970 to 1984. So it does go a little bit before technically the Wings era began. And of course, afterwards, up until Give My Regards to Broadstreet. So just going to show you a couple bits of the soundtrack here. Now this right here, hopefully the light is not catching that, but that's the Wingspan 2 CD version right there. And you've got all the tracks listed right there. That's probably going to show up a little bit better on the vinyl version when I do bring that up. Also, just to show off real quick, a nice promo version I had secured a while ago, a couple years ago while on vacation. This is a 10-track version right here. So I'm going to try to bring that a little bit closer to the camera, see if that will capture that. And that may not capture all the tracks, but this is basically a 10-track sampler right here of, of all the songs that's contained on the 2 CD version. So also just to show off, I do have the vinyl version right here that's opened, and this track listing may show up a little bit better if I can get that out of the light, just like that. So it follows a 2 CD track version. As you can see, all the tracks it lists on there. A total of 40 tracks on the album. It was released on May 7th of 2001. And before I go into a little bit more in-depth, funny story about this right here. This had been making a noise for a while, and I kept thinking to myself, why is it doing that? Well, it turns out this little sticker right here was in it. It's a lenticular sticker, and it kind of got caught between the vinyl and sort of bent over the years. So I took it out, and it's not making that bending noise anymore, but hopefully I could find one of these lenticular stickers right here somewhere at eBay. But not to worry, because being the collector that I am, of course, I have the still sealed version that's made in France right there. I'm probably getting a little better view of that. Also has the 40 tracks, so that's still sealed. That version, that sealed version, I probably picked up around 2005, I want to say, somewhere around there. That's when I picked it up. So with the CD itself, it's definitely got some good tracks, some favorite tracks on it. So I'm not going to go through every single track, because it's, like I said, a total of 40 tracks. 18 tracks you get the hits, what are considered the hits. Now, the funny thing is, you get the history track, which is 22 songs total. Track number 9 on the history side, which is Take It Away, was actually a top 10 US hit. That actually should go on the hits, in my opinion. That's definitely was a hit single. But, you know, you get a lot of tracks from, you know, Band on the Run, Jet from the Band on the Run album. Silly Love Songs is on here, of course. Junior's Farm, you get an edited version. I'll get to that in a minute. No More Lonely Nights closes out the hits section from 1984. I'm not going to complain that it's on there. Definitely one of my favorite tracks of all time. History, you get Let Me Roll It. You get Daytime, Nighttime Suffering from the Back to the Egg era. That wasn't on the Back to the Egg album, but that was a separate song, separate single that was done. You get the studio version of Maybe I'm Amazed. Let's see, you get Take It Away from the Tug of War album. You get, let's see, a couple of others. Backseat of My Car, that's from the Ram album. You get Waterfalls from McCartney 2. You get No More Lonely Nights, the play-out version. Again, I'll go into that in a moment as well. I'm just looking over the other different tracks on the hits section. Definitely, like I said, Junior's Farm, a favorite track. You get Mull of Kintyre, that was already on Wings' Greatest Hits. With a little luck, you get an edited version of that, the single version of that. Coming up, track number 17, coming up from the live version for us in the U.S., and the studio version was on the United Kingdom version of Wingspan, the compilation album. So, a good selection of songs. As I said, there's some differences. I'm going to go ahead and refer to some of my notes. Released on May 7th, 2001. Reached number 2 in the United States and number 5 in the United Kingdom. The album did sell 2 million copies in the U.S., so that's a pretty good amount. Pretty good hit following on the heels of the documentary that was aired by ABC here in the United States. Definitely a good, a good way for Paul to kind of get back into the quote-unquote public eye. Never really went away in my opinion, but, that's just me. So as I said, some of the differences. Junior's Farm, you get an edit of 3 minutes and 3 seconds versus 4 minutes and 22 seconds on a collection like, let's say, All the Best or even Wings' Greatest. With a little luck, there's a DJ edit on Wingspan of 3 minutes and 13 seconds versus both the LP version and the version you'll find on Wings' Greatest from 1978 of 5 minutes and 45 seconds. No More Lonely Nights, the play-out version, that's the one that's playing over the credits. That's not the more well-known ballad version at the end of the movie. Now, you get a clean edit of 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Now, I noticed it's a shorter edit, even music-wise, compared to the soundtrack version, which is 5 minutes and 3 seconds, which even that version on the LP has about 4 minutes and 40 seconds of music. What the version on Wingspan does is it eliminates the little bit of dialogue where he's going, "Oh, well, gentlemen, you'll be the first to know. We've got the tapes." Then it starts into the song. This version on Wingspan, you're just getting the clean song itself. But again, it's been chopped down a little bit as well. So kind of a unique edit. I'm not quite sure why that was done. But, that's artistic license, I suppose. Take It Away, you get a clean edit, so you kind of get the single edit of Take It Away from the 1982 Tug of War album here, 4 minutes and 4 seconds, versus on the album itself, you get a 4 minutes and 16 second version. It's a fade-in on the LP from the title track Tug of War, so Tug of War segues into Take It Away on the album itself proper. I like having the clean edit version here because you're just listening to the song itself. Again, a top 10 hit in the United States. Very good video with George Martin and Ringo and Linda, all in a very classic video. I will get to that when I review the McCartney years set down the road. Finally, one of the other differences I noticed between what's on Wingspan and what's on other material that you can find. So you get Venus and Mars and Rock Show single edit of 3 minutes and 45 seconds on this compilation on Wingspan, versus a total time of about 6 minutes and 51 seconds on the LP for Venus and Mars. So again, you're getting the single version, and in a lot of cases you are. A lot of good songs, a lot of good hit songs, a lot of top 10 singles, top 5, certainly some number 1 songs as well, just in the U.S. alone. The hits, again, some very good deep cuts. You get Bluebird from Band on the Run, always a nice track to hear. Let's see, you get Rockestra Theme, that was from the Back to the Egg album. Really good instrumental in my view. Let's see here, you also get Tug of War, the title track for the 1982 album of the same name. On the hits side, you get Pipes of Peace, which is the title track from the 1983 album. And I remember at the time, critics were kind of saying, well, Paul wisely left off both the Stevie Wonder and the Michael Jackson duets. Stevie Wonder being Ebony and Ivory with Paul, and Michael Jackson being Say, Say, Say with Paul. Well, I mean, maybe I could see their point, but maybe not, because you're already including tracks from 1982, 1983, and with Broad Street, 1984. I'm not really complaining, but if you really want to stick to the Wings script, as it were, to the Wings years, technically you would have gone with something from Wildlife in 1971 all the way to Back to the Egg in 1979. In my view. Again, I'm not going to complain about the extra tracks. I think this is a good to great album would be my rating. It's a good solid B. I think there's a better McCartney compilation out there that I will get to in my own personal opinion. It's good to have. It's nice to have in the collection. Probably a lot of hits you may have heard before. If not, if you're hearing them for the first time, again, very, very solid collection to pick up. I could definitely recommend it. I think with Paul's choice of songs from right before Wings and right after Wings, so you're essentially getting a compilation from about 1969 to 1984. You're getting a 15-year span, no real pun intended, of Paul's career up to that point. I think as more of a general hits collection, I could see where he's going with including some of those tracks that aren't necessarily Wings tracks. Although we've since had the archive releases, so with the archives, I know we're getting deeper tracks, we're getting tracks that have either been bootlegged for years or in other cases have just been released from the vaults. And I pray and I hope that that does continue with many other releases. I think, okay, if you're going to do this, well then maybe you could have done even a third or fourth disc of really deep cuts. Would have been kind of nice to sort of expand this 2 CD collection into a box set. And I seem to remember that with a Billboard interview from early of 2001, I want to say around May of 2001 or so when it came out, Paul did mention something about a box set. But then he was asked about it later and he goes, well, no, I don't remember anything about a box set. I don't know where people got the idea. Well, Paul, you said it in the interview, So, again, I think definitely expanding this at the time to a deeper box set would have been good. Either 2 disc of hits and then 2 disc of really deep cuts would have worked just fine as well within the framework. Let's see here. And, just real quickly, again, just some nice little bit of the gatefold here. I'll just show from the album version. Right there and right there. Very nice to have. So again, very solid. I would recommend to pick it up. I can definitely recommend that as a solid B. Again, with all those other concerns put aside as such. But it's a nice album to listen to. I find myself going back to it quite often when I'm kind of in more of a greatest hits from Paul or greatest hits with a couple deeper tracks, and I don't want to go through the entire catalog. Then I could definitely recommend this. This is definitely a lot of fun to have and to listen to. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the Wingspan compilation album, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, see what other folks think. I mean, what was your memory of getting Wingspan, the compilation? Did you get it close to when the documentary was released? Did you get it a couple years later? What are some of your favorite tracks? What are some tracks you think could have gone on there? There's definitely unreleased stuff that could have gone on here for certain. Waterspout is probably one of the ones I can think of right off the top of my head. Again, so I'm not editing these videos yet as such. But just other stuff. But again, maybe the plan was to do the archives all along. Who knows? But please feel free to share your memories of Wingspan, of the compilation. Where does it rank for you in compilations? I'd love to know that as well. Please keep the positive comments coming. I really appreciate it. And just to let the folks out there know, for next week, I'm going to continue in the Wings vein a little bit. But I'm going to review a book called Little Wing by Paul Sally. I just received that this past week. I'm kind of thumbing through it. It looks really good. He put a lot of work into it. So I'm kind of sticking with the Wings theme before moving on to other reviews, which I'll get to after the next review. So again, I hope everybody is staying safe out there. Thank you so much. And if you're enjoying the channel, again, please make sure to give thumbs up, to like and subscribe. And I'll see everybody next week. And just please Be good to each other and be safe.